here to discuss what I consider one of the most important issues that we can possibly discuss, which is domestic violence, which particularly strikes home in light of a recent situation that happened in town between a son and his parents, which had a lot of history to it. Previous to this, the city prepared, with Nancy McDonald's help, a $450,000 grant to the United States Department of Justice. And today we'd like to tell you a little bit about that grant and how it could help us to address the trend of domestic violence in the city of Freeport. In introducing the people here today, I want to cite to you a couple of statistics. In 2015, there were 298 domestic violence calls in the city of Freeport. And of those nearly 300 domestic violence calls, only 130 resulted in an arrest. And in 2016, the numbers increased to 336 calls and 165 arrests. So there's an increase in arrest. But the root causes and the solutions are far greater than that. We need to have a way to work with victims, to provide resources to voices who you're going to hear from. We need to make sure that we don't have any cases that fall in the cracks. We need to make sure that we step it up a notch across the board. So first, I would like to introduce the police chief, who's going to tell you about the additional people that he would add in the police department and follow through. And then I'd like to introduce our Voices representative to tell you about how we can help the victims in a more effective manner. So thank you for being here, Chief.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for coming today. And I want to thank Barb Wells with Voices, Nancy McDonald, our grant coordinator, and obviously the mayor. We're very compassionate about this grant that we're going to apply for. We realize it's a very competitive grant through the Department of Justice, but where we see this is going is creating a special victims unit, and this unit or investigator would follow up on those cases. The mayor cited some statistics about the number of calls and the number of arrests, but this would provide immediate follow-up to some of those victims who may not, follow through with those particular complaint procedures, or maybe other type of orders or violations or an order of protection procedures. So what this is going to do is going to provide manpower for us to immediately follow up on those calls and immediately address any of those calls from domestic violence to domestic battery, stalking, sexual assault, and various crimes such as those. So what I'll do is I'll turn this over to Nancy or Barb. Barb, you can come next and maybe talk a little bit about this.
Okay, great. Voices was just highly excited to hear about some kind of special units for our victims. These crimes, domestic violence and sexual assault, are just highly complicated. These crimes leave victims incredibly vulnerable, and they victimize them to their very soul. So it takes an incredible amount of trust and courage for them to report these crimes, especially to report these crimes to an investigator who is a complete stranger to them. So knowing that we are going to work together between Voices and the Freeport Police Department to develop a team that will be trauma informed, will be able to work with victims and not re-traumatize them, not to victim blame them, and encourage them through this process. And with the advocacy too, we can help them promote safety with order protections. We can help them with housing. We can help them with economic dependency that they may have on their perpetrators, so we can work together as a team to possibly cover all areas of safety for that victim.
Hi, I'm Nancy McDonald, Grants Coordinator with the City of Freeport. Very excited to be here and excited about this opportunity. I think it's going to make a huge difference in how we address victims and offenders of domestic violence, sexual assault, dating violence, and also stalking. So just to give you a little overview of the opportunity we applied to. Actually, we submitted it last night, so I'm breathing a little sigh of relief here. It is through the Department of Justice Office on Violence Against Women. It is the Improving Criminal Justice Responses to Sexual Assault, Domestic Violence, Dating Violence, and Stalking Grant Program. Because of our population, we could apply for up to $450,000, and that's about what we applied for. It is a 3-year program, and with luck, Congress will allocate funding to the program again, and we'll be able to apply for renewal funding should we be selected. We expect awards to be made or announced probably early summer, and the programs are actually going to start October 1. The only other thing I'd like to mention is I've been with the city of Freeport for a few months now, and I just want to say it's an exciting time. We have $1.2 million in pending grant requests, and it's not just for law enforcement. We have some great things going for the fire department and a few other departments, including community development. So keep listening. We'll be releasing some other press releases for awards really soon. So thank you so much for your time.
There's been many cuts. This hasn't affected our police response yet for domestic violence. But what this does is it's 100% federally funded through the Department of Justice. This would enhance our programs that we already have. I believe that Voices has been directly affected by those cuts, so you might want to comment.
Yeah. Mostly with sexual assault services, there has been no budget since the budget crisis at the Capitol. We have no prevention money for our community, and we are stretched pretty thin. So we have a caseload, but not enough staff to man our caseload. So we were very eager for there to be a budget to be passed. So yes, we have been affected in the community.
Well, officers will be receiving the special training. This, I foresee, if awarded this grant, this will be a seasoned officer that's going to fill this spot. They're going to be housed in the Detective Bureau, so they'll be receiving some interview classes, some basic Detective Bureau classes that they will be able to be cross-trained, not only to respond to domestic situations and interviewing situations, but also to any other kind of violent crimes that we may have.
I guess what kind of collaboration will there be between the police department and Voices and the grant?
Right. Well, there's already collaboration that goes on between, we're in the Domestic Violence Task Force. We meet quarterly. We have training in-house that Voices helps us complete. So what this is just an enhancement on that collaboration that's already exists. We've got a great partnership with Voices.